I think that the two key things that I'd like to speak about from a trends perspective in 2014 are globalization and convergence. So let's start with globalization. Consumers today have access to a hell of a lot of information. They have access to brands in a way that they've never had before. They can compare the information and the communication that they receive from a brand in one country to the information that's received in another. So consumers are very connected. The entire process of communication is completely and utterly transparent, and it's a never-ending cycle. So what was a very linear process is now becoming a very complicated and very fast process. And clients are certainly not structured for this, and they certainly are struggling to manage how they'll move their communications forward. Coupled with globalization, which is driving the speed and the sort of type of content that we're creating, is convergence. Consumers are driving convergence, not technology. Consumers need progress. They use technology to make their lives better. And essentially, as a brand, if you're not using this technology to create products and services that can actually deliver a service or entertain a consumer, your brand won't have any relevance going forward. So I think agencies have certainly realized this, and there's a lot of talk of content and how we make content more contagious, and the agency model is certainly looking to change. But I do think the key crux of this is how we analyze the data we receive based on the content interaction of consumers. How do we do that real time? And certainly, how do we react to that quickly enough so that our businesses become more agile? And that agility is sorely lacking in agencies that have very big and cumbersome processes and certainly limited talent. And as I said, clients are certainly not structured in that fashion. So our business in 2015 will be concentrating very firmly on how we drive real-time buying into our business, how we analyze the data real-time, and how we create a single view of the consumer that allows us to re-energize and reinvent content on an ongoing basis, certainly real-time, as we move forward. So I think the biggest learning this year, in summary, is how real-time and how fast things are, certainly how leaky our clients' loyal customer buckets are, and how we need to constantly be recruiting people into our clients' businesses to ensure we get a decent business outcome. And the second part of that is certainly how we as agencies become more agile. We really believe that the top trend for next year is going to be based on agility. It's going to be based on integrated communications businesses like ourselves, delivering products and services with speed. So, I think what that really means is incubating ideas, really investing time and energy in understanding what turns consumers on, and providing them with products and services that support our clients' businesses. So, I'm not really sure that just providing content is necessarily an area that will be sufficient to drive our business forward. We need to be investing in ideas that can actually transform clients' businesses and really deliver a business outcome. So I think the first area, as I said, is incubating ideas. I certainly think that creating environments where we can test and measure consumer response real time. So investment in real data, not just around how consumers are buying or clicking, or I think that is kind of a sort of a hygiene factor, but real data and insights around why consumers are motivated to do things and how they're going to respond to the content and the products and services that we deliver that enhance brand stories. And I think everyone keeps talking about content, and I think our feeling is that if you really want to own that space, you have to tell a story in a very compelling fashion and then add a level of utility to your communication. consumers are not going to be using or downloading your app if it is not of use to them. They don't go and listen to brand messages unless it's of use to them, and in fact, if you think about the old traditional model with television channels being the curator of content, the consumer is now the curator of their own content. So if you are not appealing to them and providing a level of utility or just a serious level of enjoyment, whatever you create and put out there around your brand will be totally ignored if it doesn't follow on from that. Also, as I said, the level of agility at which we do this, because it's so complex and so three-dimensional, I think from a real-time buying perspective, from a real-time content delivery perspective, agencies are going to have some pretty good models that work efficiently to deliver on this. And I certainly don't think that there's a real understanding amongst clients of how they have to structure their businesses in order to be ready for communication when it actually goes real time. So I think the biggest trend for 2015 is going to be agility. How do clients structure themselves for true integration and real-time communication, and how are agencies going to structure themselves to actually help clients deliver on content and utility that makes their brands loved.